Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Lead Judges TV. I'm your host Dan Potts and I'm with Mr. Lead Judges. Lee, how you doing, mate? Nice shirt, buddy. Nice shirt.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Little story about this, if you want to know it.
Go on.
Sean Custis, who writes for the Sun, the journalist, He used to play for our vets team, and we were short on a kit, and he called on a favour for Rio Ferdinand, and Rio Ferdinand sent down all a nice red England kit, and I played midfield, number 7, so I got the number 7 and managed to keep it, So that is the story to that, and I don't know if I was meant to return it or not. I'm not so sure. Hopefully they won't turn around and say, "Yeah, you got to return it now," you know what I mean? But we got another kit, a couple of seasons, 3 or 4 seasons later, and so that's it. So I thought I'd done it today. I pulled it out of the cupboard. I forgot that I had it, and there you go. So it's a genuine England kit, So there you go.
There we go, mate. Number 7. Is that your favourite number as well? Number 7. Football.
Well, what's my favourite number? Yeah, when I played, I was either number 7 or number 10. So. Mind you, I played a few numbers, different, 1 to 11 back in my day. None of this squad number malarkey. So, I did like 7, did like 10 when I was playing, and then I also I like when I play for the Abbey now. Sort of number 8, I normally play or 18, one of the two.
Fair play, mate. Fair play. Mate, there is a question straight away which I am going to put to you. I think we kind of answered it yesterday. Favorite Euro game so far? For me, it was. I think it was that yesterday, Turkey Wales.
Yeah.
I think I had a bit of everything, didn't it?
Game. I've got to say, I had everything. I thought, I was talking to Turkish this morning. Obviously, he was just a bit disappointed, but I thought Wales were brilliant, and I'm watching Wales, and I don't know if there's any Welsh fans watching or are going to watch. I think that this is a better team than the one they had in 2016. I think they've got a better squad, a better, in that Euros of 2008. There's some good players, but they had Ramsey and certainly Gareth Bale at his pomp. But I like I think they've improved on the centre forward. They've got Daniel James on the left-hand side. They've got a couple of good players to come on from the bench, which I didn't think they had. So I think I'm going to say it now that Wales are a genuine dark horse in this competition. I was very, very impressed with them yesterday. If they keep Bale and Ramsey fit, they've got 2 world-class players in their ranks. And if you have a look at a lot of teams, how many world-class players have they got? Some have got 3 or 4, but ultimately Wales have got 2. And certainly on that performance, I wouldn't say. I would say Gareth Bale on his day was world class, and Ramsey has that potential, or did have that potential. But his performance on Wednesday night was the best I've seen from a midfield player in this tournament so far. I thought he was absolutely outstanding.
Fair play. A great one's coming after today's game. Denmark, Belgium today. Come on, guys. That game was lit, on the edge type of stuff. I must admit, I didn't watch all of it, but I saw the De Bruyne goal, and that was one of the best goals of the tournament so far. It was absolute slick passing and a superb finish from Kevin De Bruyne, who, in my opinion, is the Premier League's greatest player currently, and I think that is the best probably in the world at his position. I think he's outstanding, Lee. What do you make of KDB?
Yeah, I'm going to say that now. Listen, I've got a little interest in Belgium, as you well know. I've got them in the sweepstake, and and I understand that they're not the favourites for this tournament, but they're the ranked number 1 team. I didn't know that until I watched the Roberto Martinez thing last night, and they've got some players. 1-0 down. I thought Denmark were outstanding that first half, really come at them, but they dug in, and give the manager a bit of credit. On at half time, brings on De Bruyne, sets up the first goal with a lovely little bit of vision. And the goal, I didn't see the second goal because I was going to play football, but I was listening to on the radio, so it was a great goal. Game changer, isn't he? absolute game changer. And they've got some. I looked at their bench as well. They've got a good backup of a squad there. And can you believe it or not? I had a look on there, and Thomas Vermeulen's on there still. Like, can you believe that? Like, you know what I mean? So
my only question mark over Belgium was their backline, because Vermaelen, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, not very young, is it? So could get tested, mate. Haven't done so far though, to be fair to them, but they haven't really been tested yet.
Yeah, and there's that part of me that feels very, very sorry for Denmark, because I think probably they're going to go out now, unless they produce a brilliant performance and get a few goals in the next game. And do you know what? I think that, you know, for them to be made, and not made, but like given the option of playing tonight or tomorrow, I felt was a little unfair on them, if I'll be honest, a little bit unfair. And I felt that you know, they look back on this with not very, very fond memories, obviously with the Ericsson thing, but also the way they've been treated. I think they've been, you know, they've been heroes, every single one of them players, for what they've done the other day. And I don't think they've been given the respect and the well-being deserved from UEFA. But listen, that's not the first time UEFA have been like that, and certainly won't be the last. But
it's as if they deserve a bye, isn't it? It's like giving them a bye into the next round.
I get that, but you know, or just leave that game at the moment, see how it panned out, and if sure they could have fitted it in at some stage. You know, this is circumstances that didn't that are beyond anybody's control, and I just feel that it was a little bit unfair. You know, and. Would they have gone on and beat Finland in another game? Who knows? But ultimately, I just don't think they was quite right for that game, if I'll be honest. And I feel for them. I really do feel for them.
Fair play. I think you've got a good point there, Lee, to be honest. I'm going to bring this in and I'm going to ask you a question on the back of it before we move on to England's chances against Scotland tomorrow night. De Bruyne, Salah, Van Dijk, three best players in the Premier League. The reason I brought that up and I got a question for it is Lukaku tonight was playing again for Belgium, scored 2 in the first, and apparently was a bit of a unmarkable player tonight. Absolute man mountain, and he's such a good player. Chelsea, this is your question, Lee. Chelsea, would they have won more league titles if they would have kept hold of Lukaku, De Bruyne and Salah? Or is that just a stupid question and the answer is yes? Because I just don't understand. I mean, why they got rid of those three players?
Unbelievable that all three of them were there when they was young. Now, I look at that, there's two ways to look at that. Whoever scouted them and got them to Chelsea in the first place, fair play to them, because, you know, someone sees something in them which was unreal, and they've all gone on to do magnificently well. The fact of the matter is, none of them were good enough for Chelsea, because at that time when they was at Chelsea, Chelsea were winning titles. So, you know, it's hard to say, right, okay, we're going to get rid of we're going for instance, we're going to drop Drogba, get him out of the side and bring in Lukaku. Very, very difficult to do. I think that Fabregas and guys like that were there in the midfield, Lampard and all that for De Bruyne at that stage. And Mo Salah, probably the same with the wide players, probably Joe Cole, whoever was there at the time, some top players. And of course, when they were there, they were learning their trade. And so, listen, we worry about letting people like Gnabry go and players like that. You know, I don't think it's done Chelsea that much harm letting players like that go. But when you think about it, those three players are, well, outstanding players for their teams. You know, I have to say that De Bruyne has gone on and won titles with Manchester City, and unbelievably so. Mo Salah's gone and done it with Liverpool, and of course Lukaku's gone and done it with Inter Milan, and had a very, very good career at Everton and Manchester United. It just didn't quite work for him at Man United, and you know, that's an unbelievable thing.
I was amazed he left. I was amazed they let him go, because he was the one scoring all their goals, and he hadn't really been replaced, has he? At Man United, they've really got that out-and-out striker of they. Cavani's come in this season and he's done a job, but he's not someone I look at for the next few years because of his age. I don't know. I was a bit surprised that they let him go, to be honest. But that's Premier League football. Let's move on to England. We've got a question. I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to let you answer it, Lee. From a Chelsea fan, thanks for watching the channel. Much appreciated. Do either of you have any worries going into the Scotland game, or will it be a walk in the park, Lee Judges?
Listen, I don't think it'd be a walk in the park, if I'll be honest. But have I got no ways? I think England will win it comfortably in the end. But I think it'd be a tough 60, 70 minutes. Things that are going for us, I think, and it's a massive thing, is that we're at home. We're at Wembley. I don't care what anybody says. I think that's a big, big plus. I think that Scotland coming down will give it a real good go. The only thing that worries me a little bit is, and I'm going to bring up the Welsh again, is that the Welsh were very cautious in their first game, but got a point and then really went for it. I thought Scotland was so overcautious in that first game. I think ultimately that's what's going to cost them. And if they give it a really good go in this one here, I think that Tierney will be back in the side. That gives them a boost. But I just feel that with Scotland, a little bit like Croatia, if I'll be honest, not enough firepower. Not enough firepower to worry us. And I do believe that we've got firepower all over the park. And I also think that our front three, whoever it will be, and there will be too much of them. Just when it gets tired, whoever's not on the pitch who's going to come on will get on when the game's opening up. So if it's either Grealish or Foden coming on from the bench, they could have a field day.
Yeah, right. Listen, I've got to agree. And I think Scotland are going to be up for this game no matter who they play. I don't think they've got enough. They've got Che Adams up front and obviously the young lad from QPR, I can't remember his name. But they've got those individuals. I don't think that they've got enough. But listen, this is a game that they have absolutely nothing to lose. They're expected to lose the game. They've got good mentality, I would say, the Scots. You know, I like the look of Scott McTominay in the middle. I think John McGinn's got some talent. I think Kieran Tierney is a great player and a superb for Arsenal and Scotland. Andrew Robertson's their captain and he's won everything in football now. So I look at it and think, yeah, they have got some players that perhaps they've come into this tournament at the right time, but you could look at it that they might be not quite ready. You know, they've got good mentality players there. Ryan Christie, another one. So let's see what happens tomorrow night. We'll come on to our predictions in a bit. We're going to talk about team news. We both put our teams in who we think we would go with. And we will talk a little bit about that. We're going to go into them. I'm going to bring them up on the screen in a minute, but I'm going to ask this question first. Where was it? Arthur asked, would you start Saka tomorrow? And Jack Sharp, big up Jack Sharp, Spurs fan. Thanks for watching, Jack. Would love to see Saka play tomorrow. If we're realistic, do we think he'll play? From a Tottenham fan myself. What do you think about that, Lee? Saka tomorrow, is he going to get a chance?
I'd love to see him play, but for me, no. Unless we go to a back three. If we went to a back three, I could actually see him playing and being a big part of it as a wing back, you know, as an attacking wing back. But in a 4-4-2, you know, it'll probably be who's the third choice? It'd be Reece James. Probably might probably play on the left back position this time, or something like that in front of him, like, you know. So I'll have to wait and see. But no, I don't see him playing, but I do see him maybe contributing and coming on as a sub because I think that, I don't know about you, but I don't think Foden done himself justice in the game. And I don't think that was his fault because I don't think playing him out on the right was probably his best position, if I'll be honest. I don't really, you know, understand why he's normally been out on the left. And I think he's been complaining that Mason Mount position as well. The fact of the matter is that the three in midfield, I would actually go with, if I would have gone before this game, I would have gone with Mount and Foden as a two. And just one holding player in either Rice and or Phillips, but Phillips was outstanding on Sunday, so you can't really leave him out. It would be very, very harsh to leave him out. And Declan Rice, I think, is underrated as a player, and I mean this like not as a player, but like underestimated what his role is. He breaks up a lot of stuff in here, like, and I think if you took him out, we could miss him there. So for this game here, I think it really does come down between Foden and Jack Grealish, and I have gone for Jack Grealish in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go through your team now. I've just brought it up on the screen. I think Pickford's a given. And you've gone, talk us through your back four, first of all. Why have you gone for James and Shaw this time?
Well, I thought Reece James played really, really well in the Champions League final. And I'll be honest, I thought Walker was poor the other day. I think really, really poor. And I just think that, Reece James is, you can turn around and go, oh, he's not got that much experience, but he's just come back on the back of a Champions League win, which I by the way, I thought he was outstanding in that as well, And I just think that on the ball, he just gives us a little bit more than Walker. And that's why I feel that he should come in.
I'll tell you what I love about Reece James. I think he's got the best delivery I've seen in a right back for a long time.
Very, very good delivery. So I've gone for that one there. I think that Gareth Southgate will go for Walker, but he'll go for the experience. I'll be very, very surprised if Maguire comes in. I think Mings and Stone's done okay. Yeah, they're not so much been tested at this moment in time, but didn't do anything wrong. The left back side of it, for me, Trippier, nothing against you. I didn't think he played bad, but looked to be coming onto his left foot all the time, and it stopped the progression on more than one occasion. I've gone Shaw in place of Chilwell, only on the fact is that that Chilwell was completely left out of the squad the other day. So I'm feeling that Gareth Southgate, if he was going to change a left back, he feels that Shaw is more of the man. To be honest, I think Chilwell picked up his game last couple of months of the season, if I'll be honest. Before that, I thought he was poor. Actually, he wasn't getting into the Chelsea side. So it's out of Shaw, Chilwell and Saka. And I think that maybe Shaw just might get the nod there.
Fair play. Listen, Luke Shaw's been the best left back in the Premier League, hands down.
Yeah, just over the season. Yeah, I agree.
Over the season, and I was amazed that Trippier played there, but we discussed that the other night. You've gone for Mings and Stones because Maguire isn't quite well. He says he's fit, but he hasn't played yet. You've spoken about Rice and Phillips' partnership. I thought they were outstanding, if I'm honest. And you've gone for Mason Mount. What does Mason Mount do that you think deserves or credits him a game, Lee? Because he's a player that has really come onto his own this season, isn't he, Mason Mount?
Yeah, I just think that he just, I would actually say that it's out of him and Foden, if I'll be honest. Now, I think Foden's a fantastic player and probably the better player. If I really was honest about it, I would go Foden and Grealish and get him in my team. But Sterling got the goal and all that, so you can't really leave him out, So, and I thought that Mason Mount's work rate and box-to-box midfielding was really good. I don't think he done anything spectacular, but I felt he done what was required in that game. If things ain't going well for us and we aren't opening up Scotland, then I would say, right, okay, on you come Phil Foden when it's just starting to get a little bit tired and he can open it up, or Jack Grealish, either way you want to go with it. But I just think with Foden, I think that is his position in that team. But I just think that Mason Mount maybe just done enough in the last game.
Fair play. Harry Kane, I think, is a given up top. Jack Grealish, mate, we need to see him in an England shirt soon, don't we? So let's hope it's against Scotland, mate.
Yeah, I just feel that he's been our best player over the last 4, 5, 6 games that he's played for England. I've really enjoyed his play. I just think that he can draw lots of free kicks. He get on the ball. Listen, Foden is a fantastic player. As I've said, I would, if I was a manager, try and fit them all in. And I would have done that in the first game. I would have played Foden and Mount in there, and Rice as a holding midfield player. But Phillips done well, so you can't really leave him out. So I think it will come down between Foden and Grealish. And I think that if I be honest, Foden didn't really do himself justice. Not his fault, but then so I think now let's see what Grealish can do in that position there, and I'm pretty sure he'll do okay.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Talk to me about Harry Kane, because he had a poor game, I thought, if I'm honest with you. Did you think his head looked in it? Do you think there was something wrong there? Do you think the transfer away from Spurs has got to him, or do you think it was just a bad game and he'll turn up against Scotland?
whether you love him or like him, Harry Kane's a class player. He's entitled to one bad game in 15, 20 games. You know what I mean? And he's always a presence there. He could have actually scored. As poor as he was that game, he could have actually scored when he went at the far post, when he bashed into the post. He's a threat. I like his link-up play. I think him dropping into a deeper role allowed Sterling to go in over the top. So I think it was a tactical sort of thing there. I'm a big thing with Kane that he'll come good. He is a goal scorer. Listen, we don't like him because he's a Tottenham player, but ultimately, you have to hold your hand up and say he is the best. And to be honest, he's the best by a long way. And
yeah,
I have to say this. Look, Alan Shearer had a little bit of a dodgy time going into Euro '96, and then was bang on it. And I'm pretty sure that Harry Kane will be leading the line for every game. But I'm sure he'll improve. I think a couple of things maybe going out. I still don't think he's 100% fit from those ankle injuries and whatever. I think that has affected his sharpness over the course of 2 or 3 years. And I think that the old the heat of that game was tough for him. Up there on your own doing all that work. Be a little bit cooler tomorrow, a bit of rain, night game. I think it'll suit Harry.
Fair play. Mac1, thanks for your comment. Lee's put, you shouldn't underestimate us. We're better against teams who dominate the ball. Steve Clarke is a better manager and tactician than Gareth Southgate, so hoping we get a result, although England are likely they will win.
Listen, never underestimate the Scots. And I told you this about, so it's a great point that you make about them being strong. I think they've got very, very good midfield. I've gone through a few players in my time for players up front for Scotland, right? And I'll rattle them all off at the moment. In my era, Joe Jordan was one of them, Steve Archibald, Kenny Dalglish, Charlie Nicholas, Alan McAnally, right? Frank McAvenny, and Ali McCoist. They've had some real wonderful. They had that era of players as well. I've probably missed out 2 or 3. If anybody wants to jump in.
Pull Dick off, mate. Pull Dick off, Arsenal legend. Come on.
Yeah, no, not really at the Scotland side, but there's a few more.
I was joking, mate.
I've made a couple of. I've probably missed out a couple, but they've had all of those goal scorers in and around the same sort of era, yeah. And if they had 1 or 2 of them now, with what they've got now, they'd be, such a threat. You know what I mean? And all those players, you always had great strikers and attacking players. Scotland, through my time of watching football, and when it comes to it now, they've got themselves in these tournaments. They haven't got that out and out goal scorer. But I take on point that they've got this organisation, they've got all that. But if they had 1 or 2 of those players back in there, like the likes of McAvenny, Charlie Nicholas, didn't get the caps, jukebox jury. They had Gordon Jury as well, as another one that's just rattled off that. All got about 10, 15, 20 caps. But if they'd have been in that era now, there'd be 50, 60, 70 caps, But I'm not going to underestimate Scotland. I do think that it was a poor show from there. And that's a very, very good point he makes there, saying that, they had to go for that game against the Czech Republic, didn't really know what they're doing. So if they can sit back and hit us on the break and things like that, the way the game's set up could be tactically better for Scotland. I concur with that.
Fair play. I'm going to bring my team up. There's a couple of changes. It's not too dissimilar to yours, to be honest with you, Lee. I do want to bring it up. I've gone for Pickford in goal. I've gone for Kyle Walker at right back because I just think that although he wasn't amazing in Croatia, I do think he's probably our best informed right back. Left back, I've gone with Shaw. I just think that he's got to play him. Listen, Trippier actually got his spot on the other night. I was speaking to Kenny Ken the other day and he was saying to me how he thought that worked in terms of Trippier at left back. He did have a good game, but I just think when you've got 2 left backs, you've got to use your best one in your one on form, and I think Luke Shaw is the one on form. I agree with you. I think Harry Maguire will start against the Czech Republic, but I don't think he's going to start against Scotland, but he does need to start a game before the knockout rounds, in my opinion. So I've gone for Mings and Stones. I don't think you can break up Rice and Calvin Phillips. It wouldn't surprise me if Jordan Henderson does get the nod just because of his leadership and his ability for a game that's as big as this one in terms of a derby. But I think Rice and Phillips deserve to be playing. Mason Mount's got the legs, and I think he's going to keep him in that number 10 position. I've gone for Grealish on the left like you and Harry Kane up top, but I've actually gone for Phil Foden. So the only changes I've gone is the right-hand side. I've gone for Walker and Foden. I quite like him on that right-hand side. I know you're saying you don't like him, Lee. You prefer him on the left or in the middle. I think he's quite good cutting in on that left foot. So I quite like him there. And I don't normally like players who do that. But if you look at that team right there, you've got Jack Grealish cutting in on his right and Phil Foden cutting in on his left. And they're the two most exciting players for me. And I wouldn't surprise me if they did mix it around a bit throughout the game and have a little bit on the right, a little bit on the left between them. So that's what I would go with against Scotland personally. What do you make of that? Do you think that's likely, highly unlikely, or
no? I could see that there. It'd be very harsh to leave Sterling out of that. But if I'll be honest, I think this would be an interesting one, that he could actually just mix it up a little bit more and just make a few more changes than just to freshen things up a little bit, like, you know what I mean, and then bring them back. So it'd be interesting to see what happens from that point of view. Listen, I wouldn't be definitely against that team. If I'll be honest, you know, so you may be right. You know, maybe right.
I'm a fan of Phil Foden, and I think that's why I've put him in, because I know he started the last game and he didn't light it up. He did nearly score though in the first few minutes, by the way, and hit the post, and that was cutting in on his left. So that's what I'd like to see more of. I think you're right. I don't think Raheem Sterling's going to miss out. I do think he's going to continue playing. He does have his favourites, Gareth Southgate, doesn't he? And I think Raheem Sterling is one of them. Marcus Rashford is another one. Obviously, Harry Kane, Mason Mount always seems to play. And he seems to be a fan of Calvin Phillips. So I want to mention Calvin Phillips, Lee, because I mentioned him a bit yesterday about the Leeds fan that spoke to me about Calvin Phillips, saying he'll be in the England squad, mark my words. I thought he had a brilliant season for Leeds. He just does that role so well in midfield. And I thought he was by far man of the match against Croatia. What do you make of this kid?
Yeah, I've been impressed with him, really impressed with his performances for Leeds. And do you know what? When he's played for England, he's done really, really well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him get better and better. And I think his passing range is not to be underestimated as well. And he was the one that actually broke through the lines and made the chance on Sunday. So I've been more than impressed with him. Like, deserves to stay in the team. That's why I've got him in my team, because I thought his performance was that good. If he was maybe didn't have a great game, I could see, you know, maybe going Rice and bringing in Foden and Mount just dropping back a little bit and doing the box to box. Don't forget you got like Jude as well, like, you know, that can come in, and Bellingham that can come in.
I like him.
I thought he'd been brilliant in the games that he's played. So we've got another player there that could actually come in and force his way. But I think Phillips done enough to justify keeping his place, and I think he should keep his place. If you play really well, you keep the old shirt, and I think that he deserves that, like, you know.
Yeah, I'm totally with you, and I think there'll be a few teams sniffing around Calvin Phillips if he carries on this summer. I already do. I think there's a lot of people that could be looking at the Euros, and some of these England lads, they're currently not playing at top four clubs, are they? You know, you look at some of these lads that are into the England side now. Ben White being linked with Arsenal, Calvin Phillips, Declan Rice at West Ham, Jude Bellingham over at Dortmund, still a youngster. You've got Jack Grealish at Aston Villa, Dominic Calvert-Lewin at Everton. There's none of these at Liverpool's or City's, Lee, is there? So do you think that some of these lads might be on the move in the transfer window, or do you think that at the moment it's all about England and, you know, see what happens?
I think it's, you see what happens. You can let's bring Harry Kane into that as well, please. You know what I mean? So you know, so yeah, I think, you know, you can say with Saka as well. Saka's played in for an Arsenal team that's not got higher than 8th. So these players will be on the move at some stage. I think with the business that Aston Villa are looking to do, putting in cheeky little bids for Smith Rowe, and they've already got Bandera. I think that it's sort of telling you that all roads lead to an exit for Jack. Where that will be, let's wait and see. But, you know, I think Calvin Phillips would be a good one for a Manchester City as well, someone to replace Fernandinho. But, you know, I think that he's on a big contract at Leeds. I think it'd be very, very hard to get him out of Leeds. But money talks. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, like, you know. And I think Chelsea have been linked to Declan Rice more than once. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I think Declan Rice will definitely give it another 1 year at West Ham, with them being in Europe as well. So, but I do see a little bit of activity in the next 2 or 3 weeks, but not while the Euros are going on. Which has surprised me a little bit that Arsenal have made a bid for Ben White when he's on international duty. So, strange.
Yeah, it is strange, to be honest with you. Let's bring up Saka, though, because he is on the bench again, we believe, and he will probably look to play some part in this fixture, I imagine. Do you think he'll get a chance under Gareth Southgate in this tournament to show what he can do, or do you think it's maybe other players like the Fodens and Grealish are going to just get ahead of him?
No, absolutely not. I think that, I'll be honest, if England win this game, they're through. And they'll make changes for the last game, giving players a run out and everything like that. And Saka will be involved in that one, like sort of like a B team coming in for this next game. You know, lots of teams do that. I remember France when they won the World Cup and that, resting a lot of players, giving them a game. And I think that England will do that if they beat Scotland. I think that there'll be a few changes for the final game, and I think that Saka will get minutes there, like, you know. So we'll have to wait and see. But I do think that he will play a part. Yeah.
If you had to pick one, though, Lee, like one youngster for the England side, there's quite a few in there that you think is going to be like, wow, he's lit up the tournament for England. Who are you going for out of those youngsters?
Oh, Foden would be the one. You know what I mean? But I just think you've got to be. You know, I've not put him in my side for that. Doesn't mean to say that he wouldn't be playing. I think that, you know, he can make an impact coming off the bench, or he can make an impact playing. I think that it's one of those ones where you've got to find the right position for him a little bit, like, you know. And so hopefully we will get to see him. I still say just playing a little bit more central to the left, you know, but. I'll be honest, he can play anywhere, can't he? So
I think so.
You know, I just think it's up to Gareth Southgate at some stage to be brave and say, right, I'm going to play Mount, I'm going to play Foden. If I had the choice between Mount and Foden, for instance, I would play Foden and leave Mason Mount out. But Mason Mount played very, very well the other day and doesn't deserve to be dropped. So, you know, he's got the possession of the shirt. I don't think he deserves to lose that. But Foden would be the one for me.
And how good do you think he can be, Lee Foden? Do you think Gaza Rooney standard, or even more higher than that?
Yeah, do you know what? Barring injuries, I think, like, you know, Jack Wilshere was as good as Foden at this age, but unfortunately injuries curtailed his career into where it is now. So if Foden can stay fit and not receive massive injuries, I think Gaza was fantastic footballer, but was never quite at the heights that he was in 1990, because he picked up injury after injury. But still a fantastic player, but I think, you know, would have been one of the outright superstars if it weren't for injuries. So if Foden can keep himself injury free, then we are with England and unfortunately Manchester City have got one hell of a player on there.
Oh, they really have. I think he's a special talent. I think he's going to light everything up. Honestly, mate, I really do. I look at England talent and I see it and I think, wow, I did the same with Gaza, same with Rooney. And this kid, I think, looks special. Let's talk about Gareth Southgate before we go into predictions, mate. What's your opinion of the manager? Does he get too much hate for you? Or is it just because he isn't the most experienced in the world?
I don't rate him, if I'll be honest. I don't really like him, if I'll be honest. You know what I mean? I just feel that he's very, very fortunate to be in the job. Just having a little joke with the old Spurs fans at football tonight. You know, our Spurs waiting for Gareth. You know what I mean? Like, and let's face it, if I'll say this now, if he come available and Arsenal sacked Arteta and put Gareth Southgate in charge, I think there'll be a lot of unhappy Arsenal fans, and it's the same for Spurs. You know, I was mentioning it. I said, "Oh, would you take Gareth Southgate as your new manager?" And no, like, you know. So that tells you a lot that he's not really that rated as a manager, like, you know. But he's got his opportunity here. I will say this about him: he made some bold decisions on Sunday, and some crazy ones as well, but they all come off. So he might know something. So listen, I think that if England don't win this tournament, I think that he'll have a lot to do with it, you know, because he's been too cautious or made the wrong decisions. Sometimes it can be difficult as well, Dan, when you've got too many
options.
Top players. Yeah, too many options, exactly, like, you know, and you can start making mistakes, you know. So, and I think that maybe that could be the thing, you know. Does he play Foden? Does he play Grealish? Does he play Mount? You know, there's 3 players there that, you know, are really, really talented. And I think if you look back at England managers in the past, experienced England managers in the past, Steven Gerrard, Frank Lampard, Paul Scholes, what happened was that Gerrard or Scholes got put out to the left and never quite really got the best out of them there. And are we doing that with Foden at this moment in time? You know what I mean? Trying to shoehorn him into a position. But he does play there for Man City at times, but he also does play central midfield. So these are the keys. He's got to make a couple of big decisions. I don't know if he will make those decisions.
I have to agree with you.
Southgate like as a player, very, very good central defender. I'll give him that.
Very good. Yeah, he was. And I think everyone remembers him for the United 6 penalty miss, don't they? But actually, he was a hell of a centre-half. And what I'll say about Gareth Southgate is this. I think he's great with the media. It comes across really well. I think his press conferences are really good. Unfortunately, on the pitch, I'm not quite trusting it. That sounds very similar to our manager, doesn't it? So I think when you look at what he's doing on the pitch, it is question marks, like you say. It did pay off against Croatia. But I don't particularly blame him for going out against Croatia in the World Cup. I don't think it was a Gareth Southgate's fault. I think we had chances to win that game, which the players messed up. But there's certainly some decisions. The other thing I'll say about Southgate is, if you remember, he actually said, I don't really think I'm ready for this job, by the way. But they gave it to him because of what happened with Sam Allardyce. So actually, when you look at it, you think to yourself, he's not this arrogant, I love myself, I'm too good for this job type character. But sometimes you need a little bit of that about you, and I'm not so sure that the nicey approach is gonna take us to glory. But I might be wrong. I'm going to give you one more question, Lee, before we move on to predictions. If Gareth Southgate, it doesn't work out for him, England go out, they don't get to, say, the quarters or semis, who would you take as the England manager after Gareth Southgate? Who do you think would be the best manager for this lot? Because you don't always have to be the best at kind of transfers, do you? Because you've got what you've got. You don't have to be the best tactician in the world, but you do need to have something about you. But you do need to have good man management, I think, because the players are clearly all going to be quality because they're international. Who do you think would be a good manager for these players?
Difficult. That's why Gareth Southgate's in the job, by the way, because who is there other than that? You know, dare I say it, Arsene Wenger would be a good choice. Someone like that, someone that's done it before at club level. That is a real tough one. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, would it have to be English? I don't know. You know, so you've put me on the spot there. Really, there aren't that many great English managers about that I would look at. You know. I would have loved Harry Redknapp to have got it a few years ago. I'll be honest. I would have loved it, but wasn't to be. So you know, I don't think it's going to really I don't think it would really suit, or someone like Steven Gerrard would like it. Like, you know what I mean? Frank Lampard's being mentioned was maybe a little bit too soon for those guys, but. Yeah, difficult one. Like someone like Arsene Wenger. If Jose Mourinho took over as England manager, you know what I mean? Like, come on, Wales. Simple as that. Like, you know?
Yeah, mate, I wouldn't want Jose Mourinho. I would take Arsene Wenger, you know, because as much as he frustrated the hell out of me, it wasn't because of his kind of style of play. It was because of his, you know,
he'd have all the players available. It wouldn't be like, we ain't got centre halves. He'd have a good pick of some central defenders. He'd get the best out of all those youngsters as well. So Arsene Wenger would be a good shout.
Yeah, I actually do. That was who I was going to go for, and everyone said it in the chat straight away. And I actually thought it would be a great fit. I'm quite surprised everyone said him though, because especially with Arsenal fans, he's a little bit, you either love him or hate him. He's a bit Marmite, isn't he? But certainly for me, would be a great shout. Okay, Lee, this is my question. If we beat Scotland and if we beat Czech Republic, it means we have won our group, which means it's going to be very, very difficult for us in the next round. We're going to get either Portugal, France, or Germany. So is it better for us to come second and potentially get Spain, Sweden, or Slovakia? Or do you just get the momentum, get the win, and then try and beat the best teams? Because that means if you beat the best, you're going to win the tournament. What's your opinion?
Get them now. Get them at home. Simple as that. We don't want to start going on the road to other places, and all of a sudden, home advantage won't be there when you're playing someone maybe like Belgium or somebody like that. So nothing to fear with Portugal and Germany. I think we can give them as good as they give us. So France, we're not going to play them if they win their group. So we ain't going to get France. So and I fancy us at home to beat Germany or Portugal. Not going to be easy who we get from that, but we'll chance our arm as far as I'm concerned. But home advantage, I think, is key. I really do.
Who would you rather have, Germany or Portugal?
Germany. I think that Portugal got a few more players that can hurt us. Germany will be very, very stubborn, but I do think, I watched them the other night, false number 9, didn't really create a lot against France and go at France. So I feel that we'd be able to keep them at bay and have enough firepower to get something against them. So, yeah, and Germany are not the Germany of old, but don't underestimate them.
Yeah, fair play, to be honest. Fair play. Let's go for predictions then. What do you fancy tomorrow night, England versus Scotland?
1-0. I think England will just nip it 1-0. Maybe 2-0 late on, but I think that I think it'd be a tough game. I think as we've discussed, Scotland will sit in there and will find it very, very hard. But I just think that we're win it, and we've just got enough to do it.
I am going to go for 2-0 England. I think that we have got enough. I don't think Scotland have got enough to worry us. If they do score a goal, Scotland, then I don't think it's going to be beautiful football. It will be, a kind of either a hit and hope or a set piece or something that just fumbles in. We've got Frank Pickard here saying 2-0 England. He's agreeing with us. He says it's coming home. It's coming home. Theo is saying nice and easy. 2-0 England. Aaron is saying 3-0 England. We've got a 2-1 England for Fat Frank, the PE teacher. I love it. Absolutely brilliant. So let's see what happens. It's going to be a good game, I think. Go on the lads from Mr. Harry Simeon, Chronicles of a Gooner. If you haven't done so already, get yourself over to Harry's channel, subscribe to the channel, Chronicles of a Gooner, and help support the channel. Great podcast, regular content from a very articulate Mr. Harry Simeon. That's me being really positive about Harry Lee. What's happened to me? What's going on?
It must be hot. Maybe it's Euros. Euros.
Maybe that's what it is. Harrison
and Greece ain't in it.
Is that what it is? Had to get that in, didn't you? Harrison Rice, a regular watcher. Evening to you, Harrison. He's gone 1-0 to the England. This is a quick. I'll tell you what. This is a good question, actually. Frank Piggard, would you give Ramsdale or Johnson a start ahead of Pickford?
No, not in this game. But if England win, then one of them will play in the next game. 100%.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't like Pickford as a goalkeeper. I think he's error-prone. Yeah, he's come back in. Like me, Dan's been on the source. Do you know what, though? He has come back at you, Harry. Greece have won it. Where's yours?
Right, Harry. Got a point. Harry, there's a star on there, son. Look at that. There's a star on there.
Great comeback. Look at this. We've got Harry versus Potts. Maybe it's because Jack is leaving. Excellent.
We haven't seen. We're going to ask how Harry's welfare is like. I did hear that he'd gone blonde. I'm not so sure if he had, Harry. You know what I mean? So we'll have to wait and see. Is Harry gone blonde? We'll have to find that out,
Didn't cross the line. We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see, won't we? We'll have to wait and see if he is blonde, Harry, because he will be crying some of those tears. because Granit Xhaka is leaving Roma. But is he? Are they gonna accept the bid? That's another story. Looks to be going to Roma to play under Jose Mourinho. Oh my word, unbelievable. Anyway, Lee, been a pleasure. Always a pleasure, mate. Great little chat with the England-Scotland game. Let's hope that this brought some good luck and we can get a victory tomorrow night. Where are you watching it, mate?
Oh, I'm on the Don Robbie show tomorrow, so I'm back up in the studio tomorrow watching that. So that's why we're not on tomorrow night, because I'm up there. Where are you watching it? Where are you going to watch it?
I've got the boys coming over for a lager at mine to watch it. So yeah, going to have a bit of a England night and try and get back to some form of normality, mate. But I was going to watch it with you, but you're going out with your real friends, so I'll have to watch it with the boys. So. No, it's all good, mate.
We'll have to get together and watch an England game or something.
Yeah, we will, mate. We will. We'll have to do it on here. That'd be good. Thanks for everyone in the. Thanks everyone in the chat. Thank you, Lee. It's been a pleasure. We'll probably be back. Are we going to go back tomorrow and do something in the morning, or Saturday morning?
Saturday morning, we'll talk about the England game or something. Saturday morning, we get up 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, something like that, and we'll talk about England. Get that done with result and all that. Like a couple of things we can talk about. Someone's asked a question about Sophie in there. We can answer that question on Saturday, like, you know what I mean. So a few little questions that we can answer, and maybe just do a little few answers. So we'll put that question there about Sophie. We'll put that one in there. The one
this
about
one's a good one. This one's a good one. Do a best Arsenal England 11. That's a good other show. That is best Arsenal 11 of England players. We can do that. That sounds like a great shout. Spiky Sand. There we go. Super.
Right, yeah, mate. So some things that. So we'll have a little half-hour little chat on Saturday as well. So all I've got to say now is enjoy the game tomorrow. Good luck, England, and we'll see you Saturday.
Absolutely. See you next time. Thanks for everyone in the chat. We'll see you very soon. Take care.